Talk Radio Network is made possible in part with help from the Black Talk Media Project, a North Carolina-based nonprofit engaged in the production and distribution of independent digital black media. Find out more by going to blacktalkradionetwork.com or blacktalkmediaproject.org and look for the menu tab, Crowdfunding Black Media. Black Talk Media Project, helping to provide you with new black media for the new millennium. And opinions expressed by callers, guests, and hosts do not necessarily reflect those of the Black Talk Radio Network and Black Talk Media Project. Black Talk Radio is new black media for the new millennium.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another great episode of Blacks in Business Radio. Today is October 26, 2017. All right. I just thank you all for joining me and my co-host, Brother Robert 11X, today. Robert, are you there?
If I'm not muted, I am.
No, you're not muted, and everybody can hear you. All righty then. Okay. So how are you doing today?
I am in great spirits. Just making some leaps and bounds in business, but I'm in great spirits. And how about you, Sisi?
Oh, whatever you're doing, I'm doing. So I mean, we're good. We are all good. That's wonderful. Well, for those that are new listeners to the show, or this may just be your first time ever hearing of us, again, we want to welcome you. We also would like to let you know that we are here to aid and assist you in anything that you need concerning starting your business or needs that you may have in your current business. Please feel free to reach out to us. Our email address is weareblacks@gmail.com. We are blacks with an S in business @gmail.com. Also, we want to encourage you greatly to support Black Talk Radio Network. This network has brought over the years great information through the airways to our people that you will not hear anywhere else. So go to blacktalkmediaproject.org, blacktalkmediaproject.org, to find out how to support this network. Okay, Brother Robert. So do you know what we have going on in the show today?
There's an problem. We're having an open conversation celebrating our 2-year anniversary.
Right.
It's definitely this general conversation as we know best, pertaining to business and home acquisition, all kinds of stuff. We hope that we will have some callers call in tonight. I just got through sharing the post in the last 20 minutes to I don't know how many different sites. So hopefully we get some callers to call in to listen and some listeners to just check us out tonight.
Well, I would like to say happy anniversary.
Huh?
I would like to wish you all a happy anniversary.
Well, thank you. We definitely appreciate it, but I have to clarify, it's not our show anniversary. It's our anniversary, our coming together anniversary. It's coming up October 31st.
Well, I actually thought y'all might have meant Blacks in Business anniversary, because y'all was doing Blacks in Business before you came to Black Talk Radio, right?
No, sir.
Oh, you weren't?
No, sir.
Oh.
You are the one that facilitated this great beginning in Blacks in Business on radio.
Yep.
No, we were not.
Well, happy anniversary anyway. You're welcome.
Scotty, thank you, Scotty. But let me say something to you, Scotty. This Blacks in Business Radio, Sisi was the one that actually took something that I thought about and actually executed as you know her to do things. Well, that's how we met, and it was just something I said I would love to do, and she made it very possible. And I had no idea that this woman was the go-to person to make things happen at that time. And also, I had no idea until I heard on her show, she had a show, and I was like, oh wow, she's good. But then when to switch over to from where she was at to in conversation to just strictly talking about business, man, I had no idea that she would be so good at this. And so for me, it's definitely a very heartfelt 2-year anniversary for this woman that has been a part of my life. And I'm so very thankful and grateful and humbled that we have been together for 2 years. And I want the world to know that.
Well, that's great.
Just sweet. Okay. Well, yes. Well, I mean, I don't want to really get into that 2 year until we start in that hour, because we could totally flip-flop our show, but I don't want to do that. But just to provide clarity, I did have a show before we started this, and it was called Black Love and Relationships. And, I had said I was going to resuscitate that, but I have not done that yet. I just have been focused on this radio show. Maybe one day I will put that in a podcast, the Black Love and Relationships. The show is still available if you Google it, Black Love and Relationships. It was on Blog Talk, and I was going through a whole nother network of people, and I decided to end that relationship and just go with this one full throttle. I was already familiar with Scotty, of course, and then I just thought this would be a great venue for Blacks in Business, which is a great logo. But what we will do is we will kind of table that conversation to the second hour, because, of course, we have so much that we could talk about. I mean, because we have so many great things that are to come concerning Blacks in Business and even Black Talk Radio Network, of course. But, let's go ahead, and I'm going to actually read the header for our show. And it says, live 2-hour show, and it gives our times, which is 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. BIB Radio, second anniversary edition. Join us for Blacks in Business Radio, October 26, 2017, for an economic discussion between Brother Robert 11X and Sister Sisi Harry, in review of a video featuring Brother Nuri Muhammad. And then the YouTube link is there as pertaining to what we will be discussing. Then the second hour, we will have a roundtable discussion about what brought us together and where it is we plan on going as Blacks in Business. And of course, that was some of the information we were just talking about. And if you would like to call in, you can dial in at 716-293-8265, and the PIN number is 82204. If you are listening, of course, you can press ** to get in on the conversation. And please watch your background noise. We love your children, but we do not want others to hear them in the background. So if you need to go in the bathroom and close the door, definitely do that. But we definitely would love to talk to you. So why don't we go ahead and get our show started? Again, we are going to go into a video that caught my ears, as I'm an avid YouTube lover. Most people are. I mean, that's where we get our information today, as visual learners, is YouTube University. So I was on YouTube and I saw Brother Nuri Muhammad speaking, and I said, oh, okay, well, that sounds very interesting, the subject matter that he's talking on, and I think it's worthy of discussion. It says Nuri Muhammad Black Business Expo keynote. So this was at a Black Business Expo, and they chose him as a keynote speaker, of course. So I'm going to read to you the information that I have on Brother Nuri that comes straight from his website. Okay, so it says Nuri Muhammad, about Brother Nuri. Brother Nuri Muhammad, student minister of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, serves out of the Indianapolis, Indiana Mosque number 74 complex. The state-of-the-art facility houses the Mosque Muhammad University of Islam K through 6 school, Bismillah Child Care and Learning Academy, Eat to Live Cafe, and Studio 74, barber and beauty salon. In addition to spearhead the educational and economic center in Indianapolis, Brother Nuri travels to 40 to 50 cities a year in the United States and abroad, representing the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's solution to crime, education, relationships, finance, and more. He inspires and mobilizes in high schools, colleges, prisons, churches, mosques, and community centers with a special focus on unlocking the genius in youth. Brother Nuri is known for what many call as usher-friendly way of teaching God, politics, health, wealth, and liberation theology. And of course, his website details the information that I was talking about. You can see him speaking. You can contact him through the website. You can purchase titles or book titles and also DVDs. So without further ado, let's get into the meat of Brother Nuri Muhammad. Brother Robert, do you have anything to add to that?
No, ma'am. Let's just go right into it because I think what Brother Nuri has to say is on point.
All right. Well, I thought so too, and that's why I was able to, get into this information in the YouTube. So let's go ahead and see what information we have here that is ever so valuable and timeless through Brother Nuri. So everyone just listen up and we'll just have this conversation, okay? So let's see here. We are going to hope that they don't play commercials for us like they tend to. Let's see here. All right, here we go.
Brothers and sisters, that we want to talk about today at this first annual Denver Black Business Expo is the other science that they never wanted us to learn, and that was the science of finance. Are y'all right? Did you know, brothers and sisters, that right now as a people, for the last 3 years, we brought in $1.1 trillion. That means out of the 195 nations that exist on this earth, black people in America are the 8th richest nation on the planet. We have $500 billion a year coming in, more than the country of Mexico. $400 billion a year, more than the country of Spain. Yet Spain has the same population of 46 million of them as we are 46 million black in America. But in Spain, they have their own airports, their own system of agriculture. They have their own education. They have their own government, and they are managing with mathematical computation remaining in the black a 208,000 square mile landmass. And here we are, 46 million strong, with $400 billion more than them, and we don't own nothing, not even the stuff in our own neighborhood. Which shows that we got the dollars, but we lacking the sense. Not sense, but sense. Do you know that in the A dollar remains in their community 28 to 30 days before it leaves. Among the Jews, they keep their dollar among themselves for 17 days before it goes out. Among the Hispanics, they keep it for 14 days. But in the black community, y'all see, you know what I'm looking for? See, y'all still got them seatbelts. In the black community, a dollar remains in our community 3 to 6 hours. Yeah, maybe y'all don't understand what I'm saying. That means that the Negro got direct deposit on Friday morning. Before he even got off, his money already gone. So among the Asian and the Jews, a dollar circulates in their community 7 to 10 times before it leaves. But in the black community, a dollar only circulates in our community 1/10 of one time. Now, I don't even know if y'all can call that circulating. Because the base word for circulate is what? Circle. Which means if this don't circulate, at least got to make 1/10 of one line.
Okay. So we're going to stop it right there real quick. So, Robert, is it coming through loud or what's going on?
I can hear it okay, Sister Sisi.
Huh?
I can hear it okay.
You can hear it okay? Okay. As Robert said, it was, I don't know, coming through loud, I think. So basically, that information is, we hear over and over again how much the dollar bounces and how much we don't keep the dollar in our own community and how much other people keep dollars in their community. But my commentary to that is, it's like, well, really, where is our community? And I don't mean that to be facetious or anything like that, but it's serious. Like today, we were at our store today, and a person came in looking for some items, and he was having a hard time finding those items. And it just shows how spread around our items are, if they exist at all, So where exactly is our community when it comes to shopping? This is probably the most saturated place that I've been with Black people, I would say. I mean, I don't know statistics about Atlanta or North Carolina. I don't know per capita how many people there are. But I know that as in comparison to Seattle, where I came from, I'm here in St. Louis. St. Louis has a whole lot of Black people. But even in our shopping, I don't see where there's like a hub. I mean, we know that there's no Black town, even though the whole town is Black. I don't see where like there's a hub of shopping or a go-to place outside of really like the flea markets. What do you think about that, Robert? I cannot hear Robert.
Yeah, I wonder if his phone's muted.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's send that message and ask him.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Was your phone muted?
My phone was muted.
Oh goodness. Okay, well let's start again. What do you think about what I just said?
Okay, so I was saying that the community that you're talking about in the allegorical sense is yourself, myself, other Black entrepreneurs, and actually Black people, even though we don't have or own real estate that makes up blocks that we could call a community. However, on a different level, we have to be that community by word of mouth, as you did earlier today when that young man came in looking for an item. You took his number down and you tried to find those items for him. And that, in that sense, that is the beginning of building that community that we need to have. And that's just the start of it. But we have to practice that point to get to the next stage of it. We, as you know, we talk about real estate, acquisition of real estate, talk about tax properties, how to buy properties without going to the banks. That, in the real sense, the real estate sense, is creating communities. But to even get to that point, to be unified, we have to do what you did today and build what we call a community that is yet not seen, but it's underground per se, and actually direct our people to other people, black people, to spend their money with. That's the beginning of the real community that we don't have right now.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, I understand what you're saying, and as I, because we're at the flea market, and I think the flea market is a great start for the building. We talk about that all the time. And it was good that the young guy did come in, and he was like, well, this is what I'm looking for. And I was able to, I looked up some stuff, and you went and you asked someone else, and that was like a very great community effort to get him what he needed, because he asked us, you asked somebody else, and then I in turn sent him the information. But I guess that is where we're at. Sometimes it is sort of an underground type of thing. It's not like a Chinatown where you walk in and you like, bam, this is Chinese. I mean, I guess the latest example that I have of that, which she had, would be like what we saw in Hawaii. When we were in Hawaii, we were in whatever that was, but it was like all Asian people for blocks and blocks. And I mean, it was just saturated with, actually, all of Hawaii is saturated with people, but that was clearly like an Asian town. So I don't know if we'll ever get back to that, or if there is something like that in somebody's town. But I mean, as far as like a community, like black banks and black stores, and I just don't see that right now. I don't know who's trying to call me. Don't they know I'm on the radio? But I don't see that right now. But I am appreciative of what we're doing, because I do recognize that people come in to where we are and they say all the time, well, I want to shop black. That's why I'm here, and that's great. That's excellent, because, they could go anywhere. And I tell them, you could go anywhere. We appreciate you for spending your money here with us. It's a good thing. It's really a good thing. So I think what we probably have to do is continue to encourage that. What do you think, Robert?
No doubt. We have to encourage it. We have to, as all entrepreneurs, we have to really look at ourselves as being as setting the standard of unity in the community. Again, as entrepreneurs, we really make more money than the average person in the community. So we have a leadership role and a responsibility, in my opinion, to our people to really try to help guide them to spending more money, or spending their money with more black businesses. And we have to be selfless to do this. And it's a practice. I mean, there's no one black person, in my opinion, that can make all the money. It's just, we can't do that. It's bigger for us to give our people the information that is needed to buy from black people, rather than hold that information back. And I want to say this with what I'm saying right now, that there are some people of the same hue, skin tone, and that I will not send my people to. I just won't send my people to everybody that has the same color skin, because their morals and their ethics are not where it needs to be when it comes to dealing with our people in a business manner, in a professional manner. There are a lot of people that I know personally that I wouldn't even shop with, and I wouldn't recommend our people. So we have the dynamics that we really have to be careful with, because at BIB Blacks in Business, we send our people, we try to make sure that we know who we're sending our people to. We don't recommend a lot of people because we haven't done business with a lot of people. So, but that's something going forward, that as a group of people, we don't want to have these real negative experiences, and I don't even want to be related to people that give our people negative experiences in business. So, I mean, we have to be more careful going forward. Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
I hear you, Robert.
Sisi, are you there?
She may have muted herself. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know either. We can't hear you. If you can hear us, Sisi, we can't hear you. But I'm going to go check on it. But nevertheless, again, as I say, going forward, we just have to be careful as responsible black men and women who are entrepreneurs, sending our people to shop with people that look like us. We want to make sure that we send our people to people who respect and have some honor when it comes to dealing with one another. Our people don't have to spend their money with us, and we don't have to spend money with whom we choose not to. So we have to set the bar high to where when people do come spend with us, they appreciate the customer service. I'm very customer service driven myself. You will lose me just by not even speaking to me or waiting for a few minutes to speak to me. I need to be acknowledged as soon as I come into the store, because that's the standard that we set at our business. As soon as you come into the store, we want to acknowledge you. I'm going to see if Sisi, are you there?
I'm not sure what happened to that other situation, but it's kind of not there. You hear me? Is there echo? Or are you okay?
No, we hear you. You're good now.
Okay, I don't know what in the world happened, but anyway, yes, I definitely agree. And people most definitely polish their customer service skills, and I think we're gonna deal with that at a later time. We have some wonderful shows that are coming up. Speaking of which, next week's show, I think we're going to try to deal with local voting. We're going to try to get the aldermen of our city on, or the people that are running for aldermen. That's kind of a side note. But definitely customer service has gone by the wayside. So we need to make sure that in order to pull that business in, because our people, to be honest with you, to shop with us, they need a little bit more stroking than what they would get like at a Walmart or anything like that. They go in there and they know already what to expect. Whereas with us, it's small, it's exclusivity, it's specialty, and they just expect, a little bit more. They expect to be catered to. They expect for us to notice them. So if we are not doing that, they will go elsewhere. I've even noticed that in the flea market, people will say, oh, well, yeah, I went over there and he didn't even talk to me, or he didn't acknowledge me. And so then they're like, oh, my goodness, okay, I'm totally not going to shop with them. Whereas, like, even with the people that we have working with us in our booth, they get great compliments, So we know that people shop with likable people. People really don't like to shop with people that are not likable. That's what I think anyway. So let's go ahead and get back into the video. Here we go.
It's barely the 50-yard dash. So that means as soon as we touch the money, it bounces off of us. Something wrong with that. Now, do you understand what it means when we say a dollar circulates in our community 1/10 of one time, and then there's 7 to 10 times? I'm going to show you a real life example real quick. Because if you don't get nothing else from this conference, from this expo, you should leave making this your new mantra for how you're going to distribute your wealth, your currency, your power, your money as you move through this. Shop with your brother before you shop with another. In with your own. That's what networking is. And I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, if you are dissatisfied with your network, you are not doing enough network. Your network will determine your network. If you and I start doing business with one another as I'm doing business with the dry cleaner, and I have a grocery store, as I come in there doing business with the dry cleaner, I'm building friendships with the owner and the workers and all the customers that are coming in at the same time. So while I'm in there doing business with him, he feels obligated to send himself and his family and his workers to my grocery store. And then I'm intermingling with the other customers, and while I'm picking up all of the aprons for my grocery store, they're asking, so what do you do? Oh, that's my grocery store. I'm going to start coming around there. Please do. Next thing you know, they come to the grocery store, and now they have a big, you understand what I'm saying? See, circulate means that when you have money remaining in your community 28 to 30 days, 7 to 10 times, then we can make a little bit of money look like a lot. Because we're really exchanging energy with one another when we need it the most. Okay, y'all still understand? All right. Yes. I gotta go, right? My brother, can you do truck? What about you? What do you want? Car. Okay. I have what? Best Go to grocery store. And then my brother right here, what you want? Don't, I'll tell you one big the baby. You say you don't go to the credit union or the bank. You upscale, he ain't small time. Check, man. Stealing all your money. Charging you for your own money that you barely even got anyway after Mr. Fight or whoever the hell he is. Social Security got theirs, and county and city and all that. But this is the concept. See, if I have a grocery store and I generate money in my grocery store, I have to go to the dry cleaners because I have to get all of the workers' aprons have to be cleaned there. Plus, I have to get my suits cleaned for management, right? So I have to take some of my money I make at the grocery store and give it to my brother at the dry cleaners, right? Now, he's at the dry cleaners, he has a delivery service, and he needs personal transportation. So he has to take some of the money he got from the grocery store that I gave him to go to the car lot. Is that right? The car lot selling cars to me and him and other people. So now she has to go and put the money in the bank. But now all the people at the bank, so they got to go get some groceries at some point. So they got to come back to the grocery store to get some groceries. And guess what they're bringing? If I can mark my money, the money I gave the dry cleaner, you'll be to find the markings on the car lot. The markings of the money on the car lot, you'll find the same markings in the bank. And then the markings on the bank is going to come back to me, the original person that wrote on it. So what I really done is the same money. It's just being exchanged and when someone needs it the most. That's how you and I do a process of economic bartering.
Okay, economic bartering. So it seems quite simple, but we just don't do it enough. You know, even through social media, even through just internet availability, I don't see us really doing what we should do to really keep our economic flow going. You know, I hear a lot of people going out of business because they're not being supported. You know, still not able to take care of what they need to take care of because they're not being supported. You know, and most recently, you know, I heard another one of my friends in radio saying that, and they distribute great information. But saying if you gave $5 a week, that's better than nothing. But I'm sitting here doing all this research, because it's what I love to do, but I'm not getting the support that I need. But I still, me personally, I mean, this thing is like a spider web of things. We just are not really doing a great job of supporting one another. I think that there's still support, though. I think people are still giving their 10%. And this is an attitude that I'm going to start taking myself. Now, I'm guilty too, trust me. I love radio, but I can't think of one thing in radio, even myself, that I'm supporting consistently. I'm going to start giving consistently to radio. I'm going to start giving consistently to Black Talk Media Project. I'm going to start giving consistently to LIB Radio. Because the people that have started this project for these stations to give us great information are not being supported. When they go away, people want to say, happen, but they didn't even get any money. They didn't try to support. Not just radio programs, it's other small businesses. If they have a product or a service that you are enjoying, why would you not support them? Again, go to blacktalkmediaproject.org to support this network. And if you have other radio networks that are Black that you listen to, you need to definitely support. I listen to NPR all the time, but they don't need my support. They do not need my money. NPR does not need my money because they can raise $1,000 in 2 minutes, literally. But we don't have that type of corporate pull in our Black radio networks. So if you're listening to this as a podcast or you're listening to this live, consider doing something. Something is better than nothing. And again, for me, I used to go to church and they would say, give 10%, I know really what that was about now. I mean, it's not that the 10% is not biblical, but there's other information behind that 10%, and that 10% has been exploited greatly. And I'd have no problem saying that because I know that I used to give to one church $800 a month, $800 a month. And that exploitation is unforgivable at this point. It's just, I shouldn't say unforgivable. I shouldn't say that. But if I supported a church, then why can't I support a radio network that I'm listening to on a daily basis, that I'm on a weekly basis? We need to get better, people. Again, that's just one portion of radio networks. But grocery stores. Are you supporting Black grocery stores? There's a grocery lady that owns a grocery outlet. I wonder how many people are supporting her franchise of grocery outlet. Because it is a well-known store. It's not a mom and pop. But even the mom and pops, are you supporting them? Now, I have a problem supporting a lot of grocery stores because, we, for the most part, eat organic. So, what is it that you can support in your local grocery store? Robert, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. We do support by sharing. There's a brother on Amphiline here in the St. Louis area, and I need to pull his store up while I'm talking about him, that we shared. Shared a whole lot. That's my way of supporting, because again, as Sisi said, we eat a lot of organic food, and that's not sold it's hard to find organic food in small stores because, one, organic food doesn't have a very long shelf life. So that would be a problem for a lot of like small convenience stores. As far as grocery stores, on a large level, there are none that I know of that are here in the city, and that is definitely something that we should be why we should be supporting the brother here on Anthony off of West Florissant, and I can't even think of his name, the name of the store, and I hate that, but it's definitely something that we as Black people have to do more of, supporting our stores. And the Brother Nuri was talking about, I want to talk about the dollar circulating in the Black community. And he gave a horrifying fact that it doesn't last 3 hours. It doesn't circulate. We don't keep the money longer than 3 hours in the Black community. And I'm gonna tell you, being in retail, we know the weeks that are strong, and when I say strong, that means when people get paid. We actually know the weeks that are on payday than on non-payday, because on payday we get paid. It's literally a payday for us. And on the weeks that they don't get paid, we get paid, but it's not like the weeks that they do get paid. So, like, our people, and there's a deep psychological thing with that, because our people are in such emotional disarray that they have to do something that makes them feel good. And you combine the everyday lifestyle of a Black man and woman in the city, any metropolitan area, the police brutality, the lack of fair wages, the high cost of gasoline in the city, the high cost of insurance, and all those. Most of us don't even have insurance. It's not that we wouldn't have it, or that we don't want to have it, but most of us don't have it because we can't afford it. You know, so when you look at all these things that are constantly in the forefront of Black men and women, they have to find some way to make themselves feel good. And that way of feeling good is actually spending the little money that they have. Now, a person will say, how does that make you feel good? Before I was in business, spending money, buying a beer, buying a sack of weed and smoking on that made me feel good. Why? Because I was working a job, one, and I didn't want to be there, two, I didn't make much money on that job, three, everything was going to bills. I didn't have the necessary things that I needed insurance-wise and some other things. So you paid out majority of your money and you just needed a feel-good. And most times the feel-good was some alcohol or some marijuana. I'm not speaking for everybody, but I can relate to what I know. Majority of people that come down to the marketplace, majority of people that used to be who I call my friends, that was the reality for us. So that's what we did. All of us was hurting for money. So that dollar got out of our hands so quick. I mean, and we didn't think nothing about it. Another thing was, there was no one in our community saying to us, hey, brother, let me show you how to take the little money that you have and make a lot and do a lot more with it.
Right,
didn't have
right.
that voice. So,
And it doesn't even
and
make sense because, like you were saying, at the time you were working a regular job. And so all you know is a machine mindset. It's like work, 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 get a check, spend the money,
exactly.
work, 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 just like over and over again. It's like a hamster wheel. And at that time, is that when you were working at Captain D's? Where were you working? Because I just can't believe
I
these stories that you ever worked a
that,
job.
I look. I never had a job paying more than I think $8 tops an hour. But keep in mind, I haven't had a job in 24 years neither. But at that time,
Right.
I never had a job paying more than $8 an hour, and
Mm-hmm.
and so, you know, even then, I did think a little more of myself. I knew that I didn't want to stay in that reality. I got in trouble with the law, so that was another thing that was on my head. And that ultimately, because I knew the conditions for black people getting good jobs, especially those that didn't graduate from high school like myself, I knew that for me probably was going to be something that was going to be a hindrance to me at ever getting any type of decent wage in that reality. And then on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
getting in trouble with the law uh, really didn't make it any better. So, you know, for a black man that doesn't have a diploma in this society, and then a black man that doesn't have a diploma with a criminal record, he is really just, there's no chance for him. So for me, at that point that I got in trouble with the law, I didn't even think to even look for a job at anymore. I knew then that
Mm-hmm.
there was no real reality for me in the workplace. That was my conclusion, that I had to create the job for myself. And I thank God that I had that type of mindset to even think like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But and that mindset came from just looking at the 60s struggles, the documentaries, and this, that, and that. I just would watch those type of things, and I saw the injustice of black people being perpetuated by white folks. So I
Mm-hmm.
knew that most of the jobs were from white folks. So if we didn't create a job for ourselves, then we didn't have nothing coming. And that was for people of color that had diploma, that had these degrees or whatever. If they didn't have nothing coming, I was like, well, I know I don't have nothing coming. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a blessing for me to even think like that, you know. And here we are, 24 years later, and I can actually say to anybody that's listening to this, you know, it has been a blessing for myself. It has been a struggle, but the struggle was well worth the lessons, because the lessons have allowed me to create more and more blessings for myself. So for those who are coming out of the penitentiary, for those who have decided in your life that you can't, this school system, this curriculum is not good for you, I totally understand. For the brothers who are getting out and the sisters who are getting out, you just did 25 years or 15 years in penitentiary. I understand. What I want you to know is it's just not gonna. When you get out, you have to do something for yourself. Getting out
Yes.
thinking that you can get out and get a job in today's uh, world is not doing yourself any justice. It's only going to add to your frustration and to your pain. So my message to you that have quit, the young people who have decided to quit the job, the people who are coming out of the penitentiary, you don't have to worry about will you make it. You will make it, and you will do greater than making it. You have to get information, real-time information. You have to get that, and your will and your determination to succeed has to be strong. Your faith in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, but understand you need correct information also. once you get correct information and accompany that with the faith and belief in yourself, there is no turning backwards. You don't have to worry about going back to the penitentiary, or for the young brothers who are quitting school, you don't have to worry about going to the penitentiary. Find something that you're very passionate about and indulge yourself 100% into that, and have some discipline in your life about what you know you shouldn't be doing and how you know you need to be carrying yourself. From now on, you are the professional. You are that business person, and that's how you got to see yourself.
Absolutely. And you touched on a few different things, and that just shows how this whole situation that we have with spending within our community just has so many webs to it. There's some psychological issues while we don't spend with one another. There's psychological issues concerning how we spend our money as soon as we get it. I mean, that is so true. I like the fact that we have items that people need to buy anyway, versus just a bunch of frivolous stuff. I feel really confident with them spending with us because they're going to spend it somewhere. So therefore we have the items that they need and they can spend with us. I really, really like that. And they appreciate it too. All due to the great mind that you have, Brother Robert, putting everything together. And I just have to thankful, but we will go into that in the second hour. But, also, as far as the people, like
your phone is going in and out, CC.
Yeah, CC.
My phone's going in.
Yeah, she's connected via computer. So therefore, just to give you a tip, sometimes if you have a browser open and you're looking at stuff on it can affect it, or it could be your cables are loose. But I wanted to ask you all a question before you moved in, and this is going back to something that was brought up earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt you. Have you either?
Okay, go ahead.
Have either of you been getting the BTR weekly newsletter that I've been sending out, particularly the one I sent out a couple of weeks ago?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, Cece.
My little wavelengths moving. I did see the one where you were talking about that you are stopping your Black Radio News show.
Yeah, not that one.
Grieved me because that's where not that one.
No, I'll still be doing a podcast for that, but I need to provide our media partners more support. And it takes me hours to put together a program, Black Talk Radio News. Then I'm on for 2 hours. Then, I got to do the podcast. And it was just, I wasn't providing a good service to my clients, or as good a service as I can provide. When I can do those do the podcast, pre-recorded and uploaded, I just need to be there more for people that's calling and inquiring about how to get into this. But the newsletter I sent out before that, it might have been the first one. I was pointing to a couple of data sets that came out of, what was the name of that? It wasn't Arbitron. It was one of these big media tracking companies and stuff. And they were saying that African Americans and Hispanics are dominating the listener growth of podcasts, digital media that's online based. And I don't know if a lot of people realize that more and more Black people, since we do focus on our people, but more and more of them are turning off that television and going to the internet, and specifically podcasts for, information and whatnot. And I had somebody reply to me about that email, and he made a very good point. And he was like saying, this is why Black businesses need to be producing podcasts. Even if it's just a 5-minute podcast, a 10-minute podcast, a 15-minute podcast, because that's like that's part of marketing and branding yourself. And if you got all of these people that are utilizing that form of media, that we will be remiss if we didn't take notice of that and start tapping into that market. So.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay, well, my thing is this. I'm sorry you guys didn't hear my commentary before, but we definitely need to encourage others to tap into the market, because there's a lot of people with great content. There's a lot of people that are on Facebook and they don't even have a radio program, but they're doing Facebook Lives all the time. So we have to do a better job of speaking with people about the potential of them doing a podcast or coming on radio. That is very, very necessary. But back to what I was saying, I don't know if you posed a question, Scotty, because I kind of faded out for a second. But back to what I was saying about the people coming out of prison. Prison is not just a place. There's a prison of the mind too. We still have a lot of people concerning, what it is that we're doing in this life in a mind prison. Just like I was talking about before, there's several psychological issues concerning how, why, and when, and who we shop with, so we have to continuously be the educators, of our people or to our people. And to educate, what I'm learning is you actually have to be first willing to listen. We have several people that come into our place and they just want to talk. They just want to talk. So if you let them talk, you will then have your turn. And when it's your turn, you have to begin to educate. And if they know that education is going to come from you, they'll be willing to come back to you. There was a girl that came in yesterday, and we're going to go to a commercial break in a second. A girl came in yesterday. And she came in and she just started talking to me. And I know, Robert, you thought, wow, when did they start talking like that? Well, we never did talk like that. She came in and she shopped with me for a brief second. But again, we just developed some sort of interaction, and she felt comfortable in coming in and just telling me whatever it was that she had to tell me yesterday. It lasted about 35 minutes. But now I know that she is going to be a customer of that Black business. So just first, we got to practice some serious business etiquette, though, in dealing with our people, because it is a gymnastics performance, seriously, sometimes. But if you be a listener, again, you'll get your turn to talk, but you be a listener and you can find out exactly what your customer is going to need or needs right then. And then you can better facilitate what they need. If they start walking out the door before buying anything, you haven't done a great job in finding out what that customer needs. And I found out a couple times, that the customer actually did need what I had by me stopping them at the door and asking them a few questions. And they ended up shopping with me. So we have to realize and recognize that there's some serious psychological barriers on the retailer and the shopper, to get through this thing and come together economically. It's a serious thing here. And in order for us to come together, we need to do that. But right now, what we're going to do is go to a commercial break. You're listening to Blacks in Business Radio on Black Talk Radio Network. Support blacktalkmediaproject.org.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Black Talk Radio, since 2008, providing new Black media for the masses.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Black Talk Radio Network, and we are Blacks in Business. We are talking about our economics. And we're still listening to a YouTube video by Brother Nuri Muhammad. You know, we've kind of spiraled into many different topics on economics because it's just such a large issue concerning our economics. You know, other cultures really don't have the same issues we do, and you can see it's just obvious because, again, like I was mentioning, you know, they have a Chinatown. You know, I don't want to repeat everything Dr. Claude Anderson said, but, you know, there's a Chinatown, a Greek town, this town and that town, but no black town. Where's the black town? That's what he said. But yeah. And I mean, really, when we went to Hawaii, I would have thought that I was on the continent of Asia because these people have that state so locked down. That just shows you that they have their economics together. Now, we all know that we have some barriers. We know that there's been barriers over the years. They burned us out, burned us down, killed us. They're still doing all these things today. But what is it that we can do economically? What is it that we can do economically to come together? You know, now that we have the internet, do you seek out shops and stores that are black on the internet? Probably not. You know why? Because we're spur of the moment shoppers. We jump up when we decide that we need it right here and right now. We don't do an excellent job of planning. I know good and well, every month I'm going to need some laundry detergent. So I should probably be calling up Brother Robert 11X and saying, hey, you know, I know that I use laundry detergent and I'm really interested in that business that you have there in St. Louis. I want to sell laundry detergent because I use laundry detergent. We're not thinking like that. We're just excited to jump up and go to Walmart and buy everything that they have in the store and then turn around and do the same thing over and over again. You know, but we have got to think differently economically. If you sit down and write out your monthly expenses, I guarantee that you can look on the internet and find a black person to shop with. I guarantee you. I'll tell you, you can shop with us. Huh?
I say no doubt. You can. You can find a black person.
Yes, you can shop with us. We have a general merchandise store. Our staples are Dove soap, which you all love so well, no matter what the challenges have been these past couple weeks, and laundry detergent. Now, we have a few other things, well, a lot of other things, and we're going to come out with a catalog soon so that you all can shop with us online. But most definitely, we do have some items in our store, in our establishment, if you are in St. Louis, Missouri, that I am pretty sure that you and your family could use. You know, if you need to know more about that, just reach out to us. Our email address is weareblacks@gmail.com. If you're local here to St. Louis, feel free to reach out to us at area code 314-745-9557. That's 314-745-9557. And we are happy to help you even if you are having a hard time finding black businesses. I don't know how that would be with all these black business directories popping up everywhere. There are so many black business directories. I'm telling you, it's crazy. But what I would like to do is, I would like to know what are you doing to support black business? What am I doing to support black business? What am I doing to support black business?
Sister
well, I
Sisi,
just said what I'm,
to answer your question, my daughter asked me about where can I find some black businesses in Charlotte? So I'm not going to say any names because I don't want to embarrass the people, but I'm going to put it out there. So I told her, I said, well, I know about this one such and such, and they supposed to have an app for the smartphone, so let's pull it up. And so I'll pull up the app. I mean, nice looking app and whatnot. So then we start going through the different sections for, you know, the different services and products she was looking for, and there were no listings. And I'm like, wow. this has been up for over a year now. Why aren't there any listings in there? So that goes back to what you were saying about you were talking about customer service. We had to provide better customer service, but I felt embarrassed to refer my daughter to this app, and then the app didn't have any black businesses listed. So before let me tell
you, you could refer your daughter to Blacks in Business Facebook page, North Carolina.
Blacks in Business Facebook page, North Carolina. Okay.
Right. Now we have been stationing ourselves not just around the country, but around the world. Now, as we put these things together, they will be in a better format. But what we are looking to do is put Blacks in Business in every major city. So if you know of a Black business in your area, feel free to put them in that Blacks in Business page. That's what we're looking to do. That's what we're striving to do. We're striving toward that perfection. We're not perfect yet, but we are a work in progress. I promise you 2018 is going to be something amazing. You will see us doing some greater things with Blacks in Business. I mean, the name alone is just greatness. Again, thanks to Brother Robert Levinex, because it came out of his genius brain. But what do you want to say anything, Robert? Because we need to get into the video a little bit more before we go into our second anniversary conversation.
No, go ahead, Cece.
Okay. So basically, everyone out there listening to this via podcast, and actually we have some live people today. Thank you, people, for joining us. We thank you. If you have something to say, press star and unmute yourself and stop me from talking and go ahead and say what you would like to say, because your voice is welcome here on BIB Radio. And thank you for joining us again, and come back every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. But yes, I mean, let's get out of this prison of the mind that we have concerning economics and finances. Because what is blackdemographics.com, Robert? You can definitely talk about it, whatever it is. What is that?
This on the internet where I looked up. My question was, because I was curious at how many, going back to something you had said about Black business, how many.
Wait. Are you? I'm sorry. Are you talking into your phone or kind of away from your phone?
I was talking into it, well, kind of away from it. Is this better?
Yes, that is a little bit better. Go ahead.
Oh, my volume was down too. But I was looking for. I wanted to know exactly, and I'm still got to do the research on how many Black businesses open up in a year's time in the United States. But it didn't go into that breakdown the way I wanted it to. But it does say, you know, we are the fastest growing segment in the entrepreneurship world of people opening up business, and the Black men and women. I mean, it says Black-owned businesses in the United States increased 34.5% between 2007 and 2012, totaling 2.6 million Black firms.
Wow.
That's a lot. More than 95% of these firms are mostly sole proprietorships or partnerships, which have no paid employees, which is most of us. They're talking about us in the hood, underground level. That's us. About 4 in 10 Black-owned businesses, 1.1 million in 2012, operated in healthcare, social assistance, and other services such as repair, maintenance, personal, and laundry sectors. So there's another bit of information also that was saying why we're the fast, also the biggest leading group that also go out of business.
Okay, do me a favor. Like your phone, I can hear you, but I'm just concerned with the podcast listeners. It's like you're getting louder sometimes, but if you can talk, maybe, are you on speaker or is it up to your head?
I was on speaker because I'm reading this at the same time, but I'm going to put my mouth close to my mic. Is that better?
That is definitely better. I just want to make sure that everybody's able to hear the important information that you're reading so we can share the website and they can kind of, get the information correctly.
Thank you. So the other, as I was saying, that there's another page that on the internet, as I was looking at this, when I actually just typed in how many Black businesses open up in a year, and this is one of the sites that I came to was Black Demographics, and I started reading that you heard me read was what I had actually started reading. But before I got to this, I saw another site that also said that the name of the site was Why Black Businesses Fail, and I know personally from going to trade shows that showed me in a very real way why Black businesses fail. Another thing that I know personally why Black businesses fail is the thing when you have a retail space that you're renting and you have a home that you're renting. Neither one of those two situations are assets to you. Neither one of those.
Wait, let me get some clarity real quick. I'm sorry. Okay, so you were saying that Black businesses fail and you were talking about trade shows. Now, are you saying because you don't see Black people at the trade show?
Exactly. Because they don't attend the trade shows, and the reason they don't, for the most part, attend the trade shows is, like myself, we didn't know anything about a trade show.
Yeah, I didn't go until you took me, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is the place to be.
So, I started in business in 95.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go to my first trade show, but it was a blessing. It only took 6 years. But it was in 2001 that I went to my first trade show, and I stumbled up on that. I was asking, I got into the clothing business. I started selling the knockoff clothing, had all that stuff, all the name brands. Tommy Hilfiger was popular back then. So I was like, okay, this is not where I want to be because you throwing rocks at the penitentiary. I knew guys that got locked up for the clothing. It was all on the news. You saw flea markets getting raided and this type of stuff. So I wanted to be in the clothing industry, but I didn't want to take that chance. But it was good money. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, so how do you switch from knockoff clothing to the real clothing? And I started getting some of the stuff from the local wholesalers, which, again, that's good if that's all you can get to, but that's dealing with a middleman. Mm-hmm. And my street experience in dealing in drugs always led me to try to go directly to the source. That's what we learned in the drug game, in the streets. You wanted to cut out the middleman because, he was taxing you. So that rule, that principle applies for us, those that have been in the streets, on everything that we do. I know it did for me anyway. I'm going to say it like that. So for me, when I started dealing with the clothes, I was like, okay, I don't want to deal with a middle person. I knew that even the wholesaler who was more professional at being the middle person, I knew that he had to be getting it from somebody else, the source, because I knew he wasn't manufacturing nothing. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, so where do they get this from? So I eventually went around to some clothing stores, and I asked one particular person, I ain't gonna mention his name. I asked him.
Just let me say the line when you get to that part. Let me say it.
Okay. So I told him I was hungry. I was like, hey man, how do I get to the people to where I can buy these clothes, wholesale. And so he said to me, Sisi,
the game is to be sold and not told.
That's what he said. Exactly, word for
I'm
word.
gonna write a book on your life because I'm telling you, I know this story. But anyway, go ahead.
So at that moment, a look of confusion was on my face because I'm like, how do we help one another if we don't help one another?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I'm like, man, I'm trying to do this, and I knew that the other route that I had been taking up until I got caught up was not good. Just for the listener, I looked at 30 years to life in penitentiary over some BS and messing with drugs. So for this guy to be telling me that the game is to be sold and not to be told, and I'm trying to do something right, I was thrown way back because I'm like, how would I do anything right if the elders don't teach me what I need to know to do what's right?
Right.
And he was an elder. So I'm like, okay. So I went back to my store, more determined to find out at that point than ever because I knew that selling drugs was no longer an option for me. It was like, I can't do that. I see the setup in that. So I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to find this information? So I'm just going to share this, and we're going to keep moving forward. So I was cutting some labels off of one of my boxes of oils that I got a shipment of oils in. And as I was cutting the labels off, your brain don't shut off when you're really trying to figure something off. Your brain just don't shut off. Even when you sleep, your brain keep working. So as I was cutting the label off, I happened to look at the label. It just, for that one moment, I looked at that label like it says sender, and it gave the name of the company who sent me the oil, and then it said a receiver or whatever. And then that was my address, and the light bulb went off in my head. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, I need to send some people to all the clothing stores in St. Louis and have my people go in their trash and cut these labels off of their boxes in their trash. And I hired some young guy, James Hill, one of the little young guys. He's on Facebook all the time. James Hill was one of the guys, and he had some of his little people, and they went out and cut labels off of the boxes. And I specifically told them to go to Tucker's on St. Louis Avenue and Grand. Did I just say that? I didn't mean to say that, but that's where I told them to go to. And they cut the label off of that man's box and brought it to me. And told me that's where it came from. They had some other stores. This came from Ashford. There was all kind of stores where we got it from. But when he told me that came from him, I called that number specifically because I knew it came from that man's trash can, and I started talking to one of his vendors. Now, I was a little afraid that I wasn't supposed to do this. I mean, really, I had that in my. I said, okay, are they going to, because I didn't think that they would, if they heard in my voice that I didn't know what I was talking about, that they was going to shut the door to me. But they didn't. They volunteered information. Oh, well, you need to come to the magic show in Las Vegas. I was like, well, when is that? This was in December. He said, well, the next show is in February. I said, well, can you give me the information, that I need to? He gave me the information. This was before I was real sharp with the computer and can Google and search and find anything. So he gave me that information. I wound up looking them up. I called them up, found out the exact show date, called up Expedia. I looked for cheap tickets. I said, put it in the computer, cheap tickets. Got with Expedia, got hotel and airfare for 3 nights and 4 days. It didn't cost me $500. I was out of here.
And with that, people, if you need facilitation to the trade show, Brother Robert does that for you. Reach out to him at weareblacksinbusiness@gmail.com. He has a whole roster of the trade shows coming up in 2018, and he can specify your specific trade show to your particular trade or business. So reach out to him. We are blacks with an S in business @gmail.com. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. My goodness. I'm telling you that's just a story right there for the history books. And that shows you just kind of stepping out on faith. And people, sometimes you do get a little afraid. Like, he's cutting these things off the boxes like, oh, Lord, am I supposed to be doing this? You know, imagine that jail time hanging over his head. You know, when you got that jail time hanging over your head, everything you do, you could spit on the ground and you think that somebody's going to come pick you up. But that's that fear that they instill in you. But you got to get out of that mind jail. If you get out of that mind jail and walk out and just decide to do what you need to do for yourself and your family, I'm telling you, no matter what they said you did, or what you went to jail, or you used to be this and your mama didn't like you when you were little, whatever, you can have a business. But economically, we have to come together. Shop online with us and other Black businesses. Another problem we have to have Tommy Hilfiger on our butt, Tommy Polo on our chest. We have to have all these, quote, name brands. Who made these name brands what they are? You did, because guess what? You're buying that stuff. There are plenty of Black labels that are out there, Black designers that are out there. And guess what? They are at trade shows. Okay. So I just looked up online, you know, because I know that people do buy these knockoff purses because they want to be in the who's who of buying whatever purses. I've never been into that personally. If I buy a purse that's name brand, I got it off of OfferUp, or somebody gave it to me, because I'm not doing that. I'm not spending $500 on a purse. That's crazy to me. Okay. So what I'm saying to you is, I just looked up online. There are several Black purse designers. So that tells you that there are several Black shoe designers, several Black clothing designers. Have you decided to Google and look up this information to add to the Black economy? Or are you just happy going to the mall wearing Tommy Hilfiger and Michael Kors and all these other people? Better yet, have you decided to make a label yourself? You know, you took home ec in 7th grade. You know how to sew, but you're working on that job, so you cannot really do what you want to do for yourself. I mean, we talk about all those things on this program every single week, like a broken record put back together. So make sure you join us every week, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and go on blacktalkradionetwork.com and look up our old shows. Just look for Blacks in Business Radio. You can listen to our old shows. Reach out to us. We will help you with these things. Tonight, we're talking about Black economics, which is something that we need to constantly talk about. Because, you know, you may be planting a seed that somebody else waters, and then before you know it, in another person, it has grown. And before you know it, they have started a business. What if that's a child? What if you're planting a seed in a child so they don't have to struggle? They're starting early in learning how to do business, learning about this economy, learning about providing for their family themselves instead of working on some job. Now, I'm not down in job people, but I'm saying everybody should always be doing something for themselves. It starts in the mind, though, everybody. Seriously. So let's get back into a little bit more of Brother Nuri. We're going to post Brother Nuri in Blacks in Business Radio, so you all can listen to the full thing. It's actually in our flyer. I did put the thing in the flyer. But again, you know, there should be a Blacks in Business, BIB, in your city. If there's not, reach out to us and let us know. We will create it. It takes 5 minutes, if that. We are blacksinbusiness@gmail.com. Let us know what city you're in. We will send you the link to your city. Help us create that economy in your city so that you will know where to shop Black. There's several other Black directories, like I said, and I'm not downing any of them. Use any of them. I don't care. Use them so that you can shop Black, so that you can help promote this economy. Okay? We need to do this, everybody. But let's get back to Brother Nuri here. Let me find him, because, of course, I've gone everywhere. Let me find Brother Nuri. Brother Nuri. Oh, my goodness. Brother Nuri is lost. What happened to him? Hold on. Give me a minute, everybody. Wow. Okay. We don't have to do. Oh, okay. We're going to have to fast forward a little bit. Hold on.
You'll find the same monkeys in the bank, and then the monkeys on the bank lot because we're really giving one another energy when the other person needs it the most. Does that make sense? That's cooperative economics. But we got $1.1 trillion. And when the math is in, black people spend $3.2 billion a year keeping up with the latest cell phone. You know, I'm telling the truth. That's a piece of jewelry now. You got to have the newest. We spend another $11 billion a year on furniture. $23 billion a year on clothes. Y'all didn't hear what I'm saying. Black people are the #1 participators in what is called in psychology retail therapy. Did you hear what I just said? We are the leaders of what is called unnecessary spending. Do you know what unnecessary spending is? It's spending money that you don't have to buy stuff that you don't need for people that you don't like to impress people that you don't even know. That's unnecessary spending. We the leaders in that. But I told a brother in our barbershop back home one day, he was posted up and I made a statement. I said, do you know, brother? I said, the reason why black people spend so much money on getting the outside dressed up is because we don't have enough on the inside. If we had our mind covered with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, we wouldn't feel a need to have all these labels and name brands on side our bodies. See, true religion is not pants that you put on your behind. True religion is principles you use to cover your mind. And the brother said, man, you telling the truth. He said, me and my partner, we went out the other day. And when we out of town, we was getting ready to go out that night. And I got dressed, he got dressed, and as he was getting dressed, he started looking around and he realized he left all his children. And when he realized that he didn't have his children, he said, my word is God, I watched his spirit just go down. He said that he got sad. And next thing you know, I looked up at him, he said, man, look, man, y'all go ahead and go without me, man, I ain't going out. And he said, I watched my partner mope around for the whole night because he left all his children. But he called home and had somebody overnight. And I walked down to the hotel lobby when he was getting his package. And whenever he was getting his package, he was getting excited. He said when he opened his package up, he put it on his neck. He said, I'm telling you, it was almost like Clark Kent when the phone was.
Well, we know he ain't lying. We know he is telling the absolute truth. But we're going to take our last break. This is Blacks in Business Radio on Black Talk Radio Network. We'll be back with you in just a second.
The Black Talk Radio Network is made possible in part with help from the Black Talk Media Project, a North Carolina-based nonprofit engaged in the production and distribution of independent digital black media. Find out more by going to blacktalkradionetwork.com or blacktalkmediaproject.org and look for the menu tab, Crowdfunding Black Media. Black Talk Media Project, helping to provide you with new black media for the new millennium. You are tuned in to Black Talk Radio, new black media for the new millennium.
Welcome back to the last half hour of Blacks in Business Radio. I am one of your hosts, Sister Sisi, and my co-host, Brother Robert 11X. We are listening to a video by Brother Nuri Muhammad where he was at a summit called Black Business Expo, and he was the keynote speaker. We will place this video in BIB Radio for all to hear, but let's go ahead and listen to a little bit more before we get into our last few minutes, and we'll talk about our second anniversary, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you.
He said then he put his watch on, he put his chains on, And he looked at me and said, "Boy, hey, I'm back." I said, "Well, where did he go?" See, real prestige, real confidence shouldn't come from a jewel in your watch, a jewel on your finger, a jewel in your ear, or jewels in your neck. Real confidence should come when you got the jewels of knowledge, jewels of wisdom, jewels of understanding on the inside of the mind. That's where confidence should come from. But we are the leaders in retail therapy. We always are buying something, and we don't even feel right unless we got a certain brand on. I can't leave the house without having a little white dude riding a horse on my shirt. Knowing good and well you ain't never played or even seen no polo. Huh? Youngsters get them a new pair of shoes, they won't even walk right. I asked my nephew the other day, I said, I thought something was wrong with him. He was walking and he's young and athletic, so I thought he got injured for his sport. He was walking like this. And I was like, are you all right? And I just knew he was going to say, guys, I went out for a pass, caught the ball, but got blindsided, hit me right here, and I messed all up. You know what he told me? He said, "Oh, you know what? I just can't put no creases."
Wow. Well, the trickle down is to the young people, obviously. We show them in action what is, quote, important. He was talking about his nephew. He thought his nephew was injured by the way he was walking, but he just, in fact, had a brand new pair of shoes, and he didn't want to mess up the crease in his pants and all this other stuff. Now, we're not saying that, you don't have to look nice and look good, but this has gotten out of control, people, because this is the conversation that we're having right now. Our economics is not supported, I should say. It's not supported in home ownership. It's not supported in any type of property ownership or business ownership. It's just not supported in a great way. And again, with the age of the internet, there is no excuse for us not supporting one another. And I urge you, again, kind of look and see, how are you supporting Black business today? It's not enough to listen to a radio program and not give. You give to church because you go to that man and talk. Okay, so if you are subscribing to a podcast or a radio network, I say you should go ahead and give. That is supporting a Black radio station. If you only have a little bit to give, a little bit is better than nothing, but I would tell you to do your best. I would tell you to do your best, because I do believe in God and I know that He sees your best. And as your best is going forth, He will bless you. So I would say do your best. Brother Robert, what do you have to say?
Mm-hmm. Man, that last segment just touched on a lot of things that we've already talked about. I talked about the Tommy Hill figure, how much money it really made. Again, going back to a lot of the hurt and pain of Black men and women, it takes exterior. We allow exterior gratification rather than internal gratification. Internal gratification would be studying a particular field, knowledge, and actually learning to master that knowledge. External gratification is just what he's saying. You get a diamond ring on, or a gold chain, or a name brand on your back. And entrepreneurship for me, even though it allows you to be able to get those external gratifications at a very, very below retail price, but for me personally, those things just did not matter, because if this truly is a lifestyle, you want to get as far away from poverty as you possibly can. So your mindset is, after you've grown up. And, you know, I'm 52 years old, so those things definitely don't mean a whole lot to me at this point. But we should, even as a young person, you should really be striving to get your mindset off of the materialistic aspect of it and into the wealth building aspect of it, because as you're young and you got that energy versus being older and having less energy, you can do more while you're young to acquire wealth than what you can when you're older. Yeah, when you're older, you make wiser decisions, but I'm saying to young people, we as the elders should be your tour guide to the road of success. We should be the ones that you should be able to come to and talk to. And again, BIB, Blacks in Business, that's what we're here for. We don't want you to make these classic mistakes. And, you know, the peer pressure, you have to get past that. We want you to build legacies and hand down some wealth for the generations coming behind yourself. So, yeah, these things Brother Nuri is talking about are things that we, at some point in time, we're going to have to find, I shouldn't say find a way, we're going to have to continue to have these dialogues. As you said something about, Sisi, you said, you know the story so very well because we talk about it all the time. Well, I used to say, I got to a point when I was going to hear Minister Farrakhan, it got to a point where I just realized, I say, he's not really saying anything different from what he said 15 years ago. And I was like, okay, now let me think about why is that? And there's somewhere in the Quran it said a reminder, and I'm not quoting it the way it is, but I'm going to paraphrase it the way I think it is. It said a reminder is nearer to God. And that's what we have to be in each other's ear, is a reminder to one another. So, I mean, you literally, you know the story because you hear it because you're right next to me all the time. But our people don't know the story, and we have to remind them all the time. Our story really shouldn't change because we have to reach so many more people with the same basic story. The story has to be as elementary for comprehension, but yet profound in the depths of information. And if we can master that, and we just keep telling the story and keep telling the story and keep telling the story and keep telling the story, eventually we're going to be professionals at telling this story, and the people will be able to tell the story to where children will be entertained by the story. But we just have to keep telling the story, because inside this story of entrepreneurship, and everybody has a story. Everybody that's doing this has a story that and it's unique in its own way, and it needs to be heard. I would love to hear other people's story because that's how I fine-tune my story. So we just have to keep telling that story, Sisi.
Well, I not only know the story, I am now part of the story, which segues us into our last portion. Okay. So that, again, the information on Brother Nuri will be posted in Blacks in Business Radio if you all care to listen to the full video. Okay? I encourage you to do that. But anyway, so our last portion of the show, we're going to talk about our second anniversary. Not our anniversary of the show, but our anniversary in coming together. And when I say coming together, I know that happened October 31st. I still have the original text messages, and not many people know this story. Like, you know, me, I was in Seattle, Washington, and I am a virtual assistant, and I am on Facebook, and I found this stuff that said Blacks in Business. I was like, man, that looks like a big deal. And, you know, for the next couple of weeks, I just kind of skipped over it. You know, in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, I need to call those people and find out what they do and what they have, what they need. You know, do I need to be a part of what they're doing? Do they need a virtual assistant? What is it that they need? You know, because that's what I do when I find something interesting. I reach out, you know. And so, you know, one day I remember I was laying down in the dark and I was scrolling through and I see this Blacks in Business again. I'm like, I'll reach out to these people now. I'm not doing nothing. Let me reach out to them. So long story short, it was Brother Robert, and he was like messaging me back. He was like, oh, yes, let's just talk Monday, something he was saying. And I was like, no, we don't talk now. So we just ended up talking. And we did some business together in Seattle. A lot of things led to another. I'm actually from St. Louis. I'm not from. I'm from Alaska, but I was born in St. Louis. Plenty of family here. Was raised here a little bit. My dad is here. Again, lots of family. So, you know, I come often. So I was like, okay, well, you know, I'll just take a trip. So I took a trip and bam, we've been together for 2 years now. I mean, there's a lot in between the bam, but I'm just
right.
Make a long story short. And, you know, I wouldn't take back any of the experience that I've had in these last 2 years if you paid me, because I've learned so much, not only about life and myself, but what it is to share life with a like-minded human being that I adore so much. And I just thank God for this experience that I've had with you these last 2 years, and I'm looking for more to come.
Thank you.
I'm going to come to the next room and put the pillow over your head and get you out of your misery. Oh, my God.
Likewise, too, Cece. I mean, it's been very much a very humbling experience and a very challenging, well worth the challenge. It gives me a chance to look deeper into self and see some growth in myself as well, because, you know, the Black community does not have a lot of, I mean, the marriage situation is definitely not good. Couples staying together is not as strong as it need to be. And so we definitely have been blessed. You know, it's just a blessing. I listened to you say how we came together, and that was so funny.
But it's true.
It was true because, I mean, I was here in St. Louis trying to get, you know, people to actually do certain things for me, and that wasn't happening. And you reached out and you said you could do these things, and you did those things, and they got done. I was very impressed. So it was like, wow, okay, man, this is a person I really need to know. And one thing led to another, and now here we are 2 years later, and on our second year, and almost we're pretty soon we'll be going into our second anniversary of BIB Radio.
Yep, it will be pretty soon. We have to look back and see exactly when that is. And, you know, we need to really start planning like anniversary celebrations like you were talking about, doing, you know, BIB events. Like we could just actually do like a big event. And, you know, I don't want to let all the cats out the bag, but just know, people, that we are really working on some things. The best is yet to come. I mean, that's like sort of a cliche saying, but seriously, when it comes to the two of us, we've got some serious plans. But as we build this village of people that actually want to do, you know, it's just going to be a beautiful thing. But as you all know, as entrepreneurs, sometimes you're just alone. You know, and sometimes we feel alone. Like we get tired as entrepreneurs. You get tired, you know. And I will say this, even in your weariness, when you reach out to someone else in need, you will find a blessing, really. And even a lesson about yourself. You know, I'm very big on volunteer work. And, you know, I know that the volunteer work that I do will bless me. You know, and as you learn to stop what you're doing and volunteer, you will find out so many things about yourself that will help you in dealing with humanity. You know, if you do retail and you're dealing with customers, as you take a step back and you deal with people who really need you, it will help you deal better with humanity. You know, you can look at things in a better way psychologically. It helps you process things, because I know we deal with some difficult people every day being in retail, on the road, driving, you know, over the phone. We deal with a lot of people. But I would say take a step back and just find something that you can volunteer, or some organization, or even another small Black business. You know, ask them. They might think you crazy, like, I don't want you over there. But find a Black business that you can volunteer with. You know, I volunteer right now with an organization that is trying to help Black families. I don't want to put it out there, what the organization, but I volunteer, and it makes me just really be thankful, because you know what? Whatever the situation is, it could have been me. It could have been you. But God allowed us to be here for such a time as this, to be that seed planted, to help each other grow. You know, we need to humble ourselves, even in business, you know, because when you do that, it just promotes your personal life. Robert, what last words do you have for the listeners?
Well, family, reach out to us. We are ARE, Blacks in Business, at gmail.com. If you have any questions about starting a business, about where to find your product to start a business, anything in reference to just doing something for yourself, as well as we even deal in real estate, and everything that we teach. If it's conventional, like trade shows, that's not something that's non-conventional. That's a conventional, and I can go into depth about that later. But when I say non-conventional, like in real estate, like buying property, we don't deal with banks and we don't deal with agents. Now, that's not conventional.
And we don't deal with credit.
And credit neither. None of that is a concern the way that we approach real estate. So for the most part, everything that we do in dealing with our progress is from a non-conventional approach. And anything that is a conventional approach, it is a necessary part of what we do. Trade shows, they are a necessary part of the success of any business in any industry. You want to cut out the middleman, the wholesaler. You want to go directly to the source. So you can definitely reach out to us. We are Blacks in Business at gmail.com, Sisi Harry or myself, and we are more than willing to aid and assist you to success. We have the information available. Tap into this information. We don't want to go to the grave and make the graveyard richer. We want you to be able to get this information, use this information, bear witness to what we're saying by using the information, give it to your children, and create a better lifestyle for yourself, your children, and your grandchildren, and those to come after that. So please reach out to us, okay, people?
Absolutely. And like he said, we are Blacks with an S in Business at gmail.com. Reach out to us. We could definitely help you get into business. We have products that you could sell. You know, we can show you a model and help you. This is not a scam or a gimmick, but it's absolutely the way that we live. And we want to thank you all for joining us for this episode of Blacks in Business Radio. We are here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you support Black Talk Media Project, which is the platform that Black Talk Media or Black Talk Radio Network is fundraising under. All right. Well, we thank you all for joining us again. We hope to hear from you soon. Reach out to us. We are blacksinbusiness at gmail.com. Good night, everybody, and thank you so very much.